All right, guys, here we are live. Bucs in the base. Bradenton. Me and Taylor got to get a little bit closer together. His face is being blocked out a little bit here. So we are here at Motorworks Brewing, and everybody here is having a real good time. We had a good time over at the game today. Started my day down in Pirate City. China stuff. We're definitely going to be talking about that. If anybody doesn't know, when we talk about it on the show, Mr. Yinzz himself, 2 Z's, Y-I-N-Z-Z. This is Taylor. This is my buddy. And so we're just going to be talking a little bit of Bucco talk here today, mixing in the minor leagues as well, because that's the theme of the show. I got the tasters lined up here.
You got the flight here, huh?
Got the flight here lined up for we're ready to do that. And I'm sorry we're so late, guys, but
you know technical what? Issues here.
Technical issues with the live pod. I couldn't get the Wi-Fi, but got hooked up by the event coordinator here, and we are finally going. So, Taylor, say hi to Bucs in the Basement Nation, Pirate Nation.
Greg, this is awesome, man. Thanks for having me on. What's up, everybody? I'm Taylor. First time ever doing a podcast, and it's live, so hopefully I don't screw it up here, but looking forward to chatting, talking some Bucs baseball. We got some sun today. It's been nice. And
and I'm hoping that if anybody give us a shout out that they can actually hear us out there, because
we are having some issues with the Wi-Fi.
Definitely a ton of issues with the Wi-Fi. So we're talking. So and we're being serenaded by a gentleman who wasn't supposed to start till.
So we're gonna roll the punches. Yeah,
we're gonna roll with.
Okay. Good game. What do you think? You think Oviedo's gonna keep it up?
Man, that's the crazy part with this is that, you know, you have Luis Ortiz going to the WBC. So I kind of I was on Locked on Pirates recently, and I definitely ruled him out a little bit as having, you know, a punch chance of getting the rotation. Oviedo has been mentioned at, you know, so I don't know, man. He pitched well today. He's pitched well like every single game he's been in.
Yeah, he's making a case.
So that's where the thing is, like, if we said that somebody had to force somebody else out, but I mean, let's roll down it. We've rolled down this, I don't know how many times on this show at this point in time. You got Keller number 1. You've got Rowanzi number 2, who we actually haven't really seen because he's pitching in the WBC. You have at number 3, you have Brubaker. You have Hill, and then Velasquez has been pitching well, and he's kind of been that 5.
He's been told he's going to move.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you pull him and say sorry, but thanks for trying, or do you give Oviedo some time to develop a little bit more?
I've been leaning towards, you know, Oviedo starting out in AAA with, you know, him or probably a Quinn Priester, Carmen Majewski. Then you have how Nicholas would say that Cody Bolton was going to go to the bullpen. So it's tough to know, you know, exactly the route they're going to go. If I could guess right now, especially with how tough that April is, only 2 days off in the whole month, I think that what you do at this point in time is you go Oviedo on the 6-man, and plus you have guys building up anyway, guys that had only been going, you know, 3, 4, 5 innings to start the year. So why wouldn't you put a 6-man rotation in so that you could basically, you wouldn't worry if it went 5, 6 innings. And at that point in time, you know he's going to get that full 5 days rest. So why wouldn't you do it that route?
Do you play this year that he has? Because he is,
and that's the to me, that's kind of the mindset of analytics baseball. This analytics, like they're playing the Tampa Bay Rays progress to a team, man. What they do is that they let guys go 4 or 5 innings, and it's more about arms. And I know that Charrington and Shelton, both before the year started last year, kind of said, it's about arms. Like, there's no starters, there's no relievers. I mean, unless a guy really breaks out and shows that he can last that long, and the only people they've really let go are the 1-year guys. Like a Tyler Anderson, a Jose Quintana.
They don't care if they get hurt.
So, Rich Hill, man, he throw the no-hitter at
PNC Park. Let's go. Yeah, let him go.
And let him go and just, let him roll out. So, I mean, at that point in time, I mean, who knows? But for the most part, I mean, I would like to see Oviedo.
It's a good problem to have. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to is there's the eye
for that.
Absolutely. A big problem.
Hayes, another great game today. Another bomb. What do you think? Is he gonna keep it up, or is this just Bradenton magic right now?
Well, I know that when we saw the home run hit, we all thought the same thing. I mean, there's like 4 of us standing there, and we're thinking, okay, is this the Bradenton wind that kind of took it over, or is this, the launch angle was good. You can never really tell. I mean, I didn't look at StatCast yet to see what the estimated, because they take it out to where it would actually land at. It wouldn't be like where it landed in the stands. So, I mean, it did have the launch angle that would easily get over.
It was a well-hit ball.
Yeah, it was a well-hit ball. So it's not something to really be too concerned about that. I mean, Hayes, as everybody knows that listen to me, Hayes has always been an exit velocity monster. He's just never really been a launch angle monster.
Right.
So, if he can fix that launch angle and get that going in some way, then, I mean, you're in for a good season. And guess what? The thumb looked okay. I had seen him over at Pirate City. He was fielding yesterday, and we're recording here. We're live here on Saturday, but on Friday he was over there, and it was the big thing is you were worried about the left hand. It wasn't about the fielding. It's about, man, put your hand on a wooden bat, hit a ball that's coming in 96 miles an hour, and feel that reverberation if you have a hurt thumb. I mean, man, there's times where my back is hurting me in the morning and I don't want to get up.
Just think about everyone's trying to golf. Try holding a golf club with a broken hand or broken finger. I mean, it just makes it uncomfortable. And then you're thinking about every swing, every motion. You're not letting your mind, your body hit the ball. So it's tough. You got to stay healthy. I mean, I think that's the thing is we need a lot of production out of him. He needs to hit 15 homers this year. He needs to do better. He's a Gold Glove candidate for sure, but he needs to hit the ball. For being a third baseman, that's a power position.
Yeah, and here's the thing is, man, the one thing you said to me, though, when we were standing there is, and that's the question I'm going to ask you, man,
See, if he can start hitting some home runs, absolutely stay at third. I mean, I don't want to lose that glove there. But if he's not going to be able to hit more than 10 home runs a year, I think you leave him at second base and you pick up some power and go on him something. I mean, that's what.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, I look at players not being moved off of positions, and since this is kind of a little bit of a minor league podcast, a guy like Dario Lopez, who was a top fielder in Bradenton a couple years ago. Definitely had a decent amount of errors, but it showed he could field a position and also has a little bit more power. Because that's, if you're talking about moving Hayes on the third, I mean, defensively you could put in Jared Triolo and you wouldn't, miss a step there, but you're also not going to get, much more power. So that's the thing with the Pirates is that and I feel like it's been, I don't know how many years now, power has never really come. I mean, you had
Stars was the last one hit 40 plus.
Yes. Yeah, you got Sturgill, and then you got
they hit what? 38?
Brian Giles hit 39. Brian Giles hit 39. You had Pedro Alvarez hit, I think 33 or 34. He actually led the majors that year, but still I mean, Brian Reynolds. No, he's at what was he last year? 27. So I think you feel like you're topping out with his power there.
And it's funny that they're having power. I think it's kind of funny that that's kind of like how it happened. But,
Yeah.
hey.
And the crazy thing is today I said this. I said we have to go to games every single time together because the last 2 times we've been in a game, Brian Reynolds is in a chat. So we have broken.
You're welcome, Brian.
We have broken Brian Reynolds out of his little slump that he had in Bradenton because we watched the game. I think it was the time that we broke it was like the most home runs and Pirates hit. It was like the 800th home run or something. Wasn't it like I forget what it was. It was
a couple things. Was that on Neil Cruz's first game too?
Yeah, that would have been
later in the year.
That was later in the year, yeah. So it was so it wasn't his first game up, but we definitely
there's something going on. I can't remember either. But.
Can't remember. But yeah. So we see that.
I mean, immediately after. So.
And we had a friend here that was that missed both and walking out to find us. So feeling a little bit bad for him. Not too bad because he lives down here in Bradenton, so he gets to experience beautiful weather all the time. So I don't feel too bad for him. No. But I mean, he'll get to see plenty more home runs here.
And his dad was a Yankee fan today, so at least he wore the black and gold. Shout out to Mark. Thanks for rocking Yinzz, buddy. Appreciate it. But yeah, I mean Reynolds. I'm glad he's still on the team. I'm glad. I know there's some drama, but I think we're just gonna hope that we can work through that. Keep him on the team as long as possible. I know he wants to be here. He's a Yinzer, but I feel it. He just loves that blue collar lifestyle and he's quiet. Just likes the city.
And dude, that was the one thing I noticed. I was like walking back up to meet you guys after I think I went down to the shop or something, and came back up, and there was kids standing there. Everybody knows if you've been down to Bradenton, like they got the little wall up where the players walk back after the spring training game is over or when they're out of the game. 4 players got their names yelled. 1 man walked over. It was Brian Reynolds. It was without hesitation. I'm not going to say the other guys' names or whatever. So maybe they had a bad game, bad day. Maybe just was hot out. They want to get back in. That just kind of says something about the guy. It's just that he goes about his business. He also has his role within this team, and I'm absolutely.
I love Brian. I hope he's a Pirate forever. I really do.
Yeah, I mean I feel like what's the date here? March 11th. Open days March. I think it's March 30th.
Oh, opening day. No,
yeah, the home opener. You're thinking about the home opener. Yeah, I mean, believe me, owners want someone to be at that game, but yeah, so we get, 19 days here. Ben Sherrington, get it done, man, because they're not really the team. They're kind of almost like the Steelers in that aspect, and that's a good segue to Yinzz, because Yinzz can be worn for every single team, but
Penguins are playing right now, so yeah, let's go Pens.
Yeah, go Pens. Look at this. We're getting some cheers here from the onlookers, but yeah, man, it's kind of like the thing is in Pittsburgh, you do not negotiate contracts during the season, and we saw last year. I mean, getting ready for opening day, and all of a sudden it blasts out that Hayes. I think it him, if he's not traded by the end of the season, I mean, you got to negotiate again because he's going to arbitration. So you got to at least tender a contract. So there's going to be conversations again. It's just that it's the length, and I mean, I've kind of gotten to the point here that I don't care if it's 6. I don't care if it's 8. I don't think he's here for 6.
Right. That's
so,
okay.
So, I was talking about Derek Shelton being a lame duck. Have Carlos Santana, your lame duck first baseman. G-Man Choi, your lame duck first baseman DH. I mean, McCutchen could be brought back for another year, but you only have him here, for 1 year. The only player that you have signed, your contract beyond this year is Brian Hayes. you need to start signing up that core.
We need to have a foundation to build upon.
Yeah,
we do. We've been building for it. We have so many young guys coming up, but it's like we can't expect everyone to fill a hole every year. We need to have those guys set in stone. And moving to left field, I think, is that first step to saying, hey, you're going to be a left fielder for the rest of your career. Let's get a contract.
That's a good way to look at it. I basically looked at it that his fielding wasn't great in center field last year, but you're more positive.
I'm more positive.
He's half. We got half full and half empty over here. You know, we'll kind of pair ourselves together. Yeah, I get somebody. We thought like once Yinzz was signed, just because of what had happened last time, because Cherington does have some sort of similarities to Huntington, even though we don't want to admit it. He does have. And I thought that once he got that first, contract signed, that there would be at least.
How much is it coming from his boss?
I think honestly, I think Nutting wants to sign. I think he wants to sign. I'm not saying that it's like he would approve that much money, but last year he basically stepped in when there was those problems with that arbitration. And it was and it was basically like messing around with Brian.
It was embarrassing, though. So
it was. And he said, get it done. But then the thing is, in back here, because Andrew McCutcheon reached out to Bob Nutting. And Bob Nutting said, you know what, Ben, you don't got to sign him, but at least sit down with him and, maybe see where this is going to go.
I didn't think they were going to see eye to eye this year. I thought he was going to go do a movie somewhere else. I'm so glad to see him back. He looks good, too. He really does.
Take it easy, guys. Have a good one. Safe travels.
Well, we could talk all day about this. Let's talk about more Bradenton real quick while we're here. You guys good city today. I didn't get to yet. Tell me, how was it?
City. It's like a Mackey there, and I was like, I wonder why Jason Mackey stopped over here today. And I'm like thinking maybe a little birdie put in his ear that Anthony Solometto was going to be facing off against Bubba Chandler in a sim game. And
that happened today?
That happened today, man. It was not
how was it?
It was not disappointing. Neither one of them got hit hard whatsoever. It was just all excitement. The slider, the bite on Bubba Chandler's slider. Everybody talks about Bubba Chandler's fastball and how he can pump that up. Bubba Chandler's slider is electric.
He's still hitting, right?
No, he's not anymore. They basically announced last week that he was.
Really?
That he was.
I knew they weren't putting him in the field, but okay.
Yeah, straight to pitching. So good stuff there. Seeing Solometto, I just love his mechanics. He throwing the ball. I'm right-handed. So when I throw a right-handed ball, it looks good. When I try to throw left-handed, it kind of comes out all wonky. You know how when you try to throw with your non-dominant hand? That's what his looks like. But man, he rotates the ball so freaking well. But the one guy I want to say, I saw him yesterday. Thomas Harris has not played a single game for us yet. Is drafted last year. Was said to have one of the most repeatable motions in baseball. This was not from the Pirates or anything. This was from the scouts. They just basically said a guy that doesn't put a lot of leverage on his arm, a guy that just can do a repeatable motion and it looks like he's just playing catch. Man, it was.
The future's bright.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, with him, I think Axel Plaz was catching, so I was watching that obviously because I love Axel Plaz. Thomas Harrington was hitting, and then Jack Brannigan, Axel Plaz was catching, Jack Brannigan was hitting, and man, it just got me so excited that he does have it effortless, 95 to 97.
Did you get one?
Absolutely crazy.
Appreciate that. Thanks, guys.
It's absolutely insane over there. Henry Davis got to see him hit a little bit. He hits the ball hard. When he makes contact, he's got a good eye, it looks like. Too. So, that's a guy that I'm not, I worry anytime we get, a 1-1. I just have like this worry, like, is this going to be a bust? With him, like, man, he's like such a hard worker, and
like to play ball. He's not as good as he comes. He'll make it up.
Okay, yeah, I mean, like, everybody thinks it's like, here's a 1-1. This guy's a 1-1, so he needs to be like, he needs to be like a guy that's gonna, be a dynasty MVP, like 10 WAR player and stuff like that. And he may not be that.
Baseball's not that. It's not like football. It's not like trading. The Bears just traded their first overall pick. Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
Four draft picks and a player. It's on the Pirates. That's setting this up. Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, so there's a lot of good stuff going on there. I'm gonna take Taylor over there tomorrow. We're gonna check out some more stuff, putting out some more videos. Who else? I saw Jared was over there today. Joe got frustrated because of the pitch clock thing. He tried to throw a pitch. They called no pitch. Said they didn't wait for the guy to get set, and he's just like, well, I'm ready, and got a little bit frustrated about that. So I know the pitch clock and stuff had come in the money a bit, but definitely he still wasn't somebody that seemed to be a huge fan of from his reaction at that point in time.
So, that's going to be hard, though. Play baseball your whole life one way, and then all of a sudden get your ass up on the mound and pitch.
Yeah, and here's the thing: is I know we can't change it, and I know talking about changing it is beyond us. Like it's probably, we can't say that. But what we're even standing there saying is like, why wouldn't it just be 20 seconds all the time so I could get in a rhythm and know what that 20 seconds like feels like? Because you want a pitcher to kind of get in a rhythm and stuff like that. And I know it's not going to change, and I know people will adjust. Spoke with Spencer Smith, former voice of the Bradenton Marauders last year, and he just basically said that for the first month or so it was a little bit of an issue, but then after that you didn't even realize that it was there. So I think the guys are going to get used to it. I just kind of hate seeing it. So when I'm at a game, my eyes kind of get drawn to the clock that is counting down.
Well, in Bradenton, it's right there. So hopefully,
if there's one there, just so the pitcher can see it, it's fine. But it was kind of everywhere. As guys are getting used to it, I think everybody watched Yankees feed when they were playing over at I think it was George Steinbrenner Memorial Stadium. That they had it off to the side that you couldn't see it while you were watching the game on TV. But they did once it got down to almost like a football. Once it got down to 5 seconds or something, it popped up on the screen below the balls and strikes to kind of getting down to it, just to give people an idea of maybe why there's a ball, why there's a ball being called, just different things like that. And I feel like they're going to have to explain a different amount of stuff. They're going to have to this guy disengaged, and what a disengagement is, because before people were and originally it was if we throw over twice, then we don't get to throw over a third time. No, as soon as you throw over, there's your one time, even if you didn't throw the ball. So it's there's going to have to be a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I got a question. Just thought of it. What happens if, say your clock, so you got 1 second, it goes out, but you still throw the ball and you peg somebody. Is that a ball or is that a hit by pitch?
I think
I know you have the rule book.
I know. Here's the thing. Here's the thing is basically
what happens.
I don't know. Here's the crazy thing is there is that asterisk at the bottom of everything that says at discretion of the umpire.
Really?
You know what I mean? It's the same with everything. It's if a guy doesn't get in within 8 seconds, was there something else going on that you couldn't make it back in there and be ready within 8 seconds? So at the discretion, that you wouldn't get a strike call against him. If the pitcher, is asking for another ball or is dealing with an injury or something, it's they give those, and everything's it's at the discretion. It's that little asterisk. So it's it's
gonna be an interesting year. This year,
it's definitely going to be interesting to kind of deal with that kind of stuff. But I did want to talk about one other guy we saw.
Yeah, Yinzz here. I know we're running out of time, and we got to talk about the Motorworks Brews right here too.
Yeah. So and I don't want the beers to get too warm. I don't want to give them bad scores. Just a little bit warm, and I don't think I will, because I've been drinking this whole friction. I know it's probably the probably like the favorite around here. It's like a, feels like a little bit of a little IPA easy, like it's, got the oats and the notes and the whatever, I love. That's why I got it. But it's probably one of the favorites down here, and that's going to be one of the ones I told them to give me a random, but they didn't know that I was going to be putting them out here. I had already been drinking the Pulp Friction, so I kind of already know what the score is going to be in here right now.
It's such a cool venue, though. I mean, we got live music, huge outdoor patio.
Dude, this beer garden out here, this is stinking huge. Like I hear loud, like this is like you're going to like a mini concert when you come here. I mean that's the only way I can really describe it. They have a great stage back there. I can't think of any place in Pittsburgh that is, but they need to get one of these.
They do.
So I'm gonna ask
Majinski?
People have been saying like does he look good? And last year, I mean, he kind of fought back the previous season, and so when guys like, it's not like he pitched bad last year, but man, I wasn't seeing the stuff that I'm seeing right now. And every single spring training start he makes, his stuff is crisp. He's hitting his spots. You can tell. I mean, there wasn't much action from the Yankees like whatsoever. For Carmen Majinski, a guy that I kind of like downplayed a little bit last year. I am hoping to eat some major crow on this one. And maybe he just needed to get a full regular season of just work in, and then also get built up in a regular fashion. And I'm trying to figure out next time to see if he's doing something different, if it's a different grip, different stuff like that. Oh, somebody had a good time at the game today. But
go Bucs.
So yeah, I mean, but like with Majinski, that's what I talk about. Like, it's like not only what do you do with the starting rotation up here, it's what do you do with the starting rotation in in AAA. I could still see, even though people would probably charge down to one team Federal and just want to knock Ben Sherrington out. Still see Majinski starting in Altoona. Just because here, if Luis Ortiz is there, if Priester's there, if Nicholas is there.
Is Priester going to Indianapolis?
Yeah, and I think he's definitely going to be there. I mean, you kind of just start running out of spots. So, and I think that it was John Baker at some point in time. He's the director of pitching and coaching for the minors. So basically like the GM of the minors. He came out at one point in time, placed in out somewhere to do with where they're at. It's just that they're so even that you just want to get these guys innings. And the hope would be that, Luis Ortiz, if he doesn't make the Major League roster, pushes himself onto the Major League roster, which then gives a space for, Carmen Majinski to move up. Or if Carmen Majinski's there and, maybe Kyle and Nicholas starts down, do you hope that, it kind of follows the progression? But, I mean, Taylor, you said earlier, man, just actually a good problem to have. If Carmen Majinski,
if he's down in AA,
yeah. I mean, people get upset that maybe Vince Velasquez pitching well here, and I'm like, what's the downside of Vince Velasquez pitching well?
If AAA stacked, Altoona stacked, it doesn't help if Pirates are still 50 wins, 60 wins in these seasons. It's I want to see the Pirates progress, and the fact that they're not going to pull these guys up, that is the problem.
That's the frustrating part. Yeah. And here's the thing: is I feel like that Sherrington has to start getting quicker on the trigger. If you know what I mean? It's just
I think Sherrington needs to do it too. Not Sherrington. Shelton.
Yeah, and here's the thing: is I'm still love. Everybody says they want to talk to Nutting. I thought I wanted to talk to Sherrington. I saw him yesterday at Pirate City. Obviously, didn't get to talk to him because I'm just a random broadcaster and podcaster and all this stuff. A beer drinker. So they wouldn't let me talk to him. Clearly. I kind of want to talk to Shelton to see, and he'd have to have a couple drinks in him. He likes some bourbon. I'd bring him some nice bourbon and warm him up a little bit. But I would want to know how much of the information of who to start and different stuff is coming from above him. And how much of the game planning is coming? Like, are they giving him like, okay, these are the guys we want to see this week? Fill out your lineup, or is it like, you know what, we want to see this guy for 5, 6, 7 games, so get him in the lineup.
We talked about the Van Meter thing earlier today.
Yeah.
We also know how Sean built his lineups last year. It was by 2 weeks at a time, I think.
Yeah.
So build 2 week lineups.
Funny part is
I do that.
Yeah, the crazy part is that I had Rob Beertemple from the Athletic on, and even though they were building those lineups 2 weeks in advance, they were still getting the lefty-righty platoon advantages.
Yeah, it's like
69% of the time. So they're like basically thinking maybe a little bit too much.
Hold a second. Get behind me.
So what I'm going to try to do here now is I asked for some random beers, so I don't.
Yay! Let's go.
So I don't know what the actual the types of beers here. So just bear with me in real time for a second.
Mark, you want to come give us some insight into some of these beers? You know any of them? The V Twin.
The V-Twin and the Polk Brickton are 2 of their staples. Polk Brickton is in a bunch of different places around here, like Publix and different chains. That's the one that they sell. Like
what's the dark one here? The black
dark
lager?
one, that's the black lager, and then the adoptable is
the light beer.
The light one.
So V-Twin looks like it's a Vienna lager.
Yeah.
So for those of you who haven't listened yet, I do a ranking system, actually a scoring system based on, I call it based on batting average. It's called but I also do a weighted version. It's called the Waboba, weighted based on batting average. 400 is the Honus, 300 is Clemente. I call it the Pokovich, but if he makes it but that's kind of where it goes. So the Vienna Lager, it's like one of my more favorite beers. Whatever I score it by, it gets taken down by 0.05. So if you get a 300, it comes down to a 250 batting average. So I'll give this one a taste here.
No pressure.
And it's smooth and easy drinking. I want to thank Motor City Brewworks Brewing for kind of getting a setup here because they're having some trouble, and they basically went to lengths to get like private passwords and whatever, to get us set up. So I'm not going to give them, obviously not going to favor them too much, but on this one, man, I could drink this twin probably all freaking day. I honestly could, and I will give this a 3.75 with the weighted, it goes down, so it'd be about around a 325. So that's a pretty solid beer for me right there. So at this point in time, we're going with the black lager, which I could tell you I probably have not had too many of these.
You like heavy. You like heavy, don't you?
No, Chris likes heavy.
Chris is happy guy.
Chris, you don't. No, so I'm gonna look here, and bear with me, people that aren't watching us live and are gonna I'm gonna cut some of this out probably when I edit the podcast, but just because I couldn't find.
So we're good at 35 minutes.
So I got Motorworks Brewing here, and I'm gonna look up the black lager. Might be. I wanted them to give me the Midnight Express, though. I should probably have one. The black lager here. We'll see.
It was pretty self-explanatory.
It almost tastes like a Bock. Like people that are from Pittsburgh would probably equate it to like a St. Nicholas Bock. Black lager's got a little bit of a Bock feeling to it. I'm going to give that one a 3.5. I'm going to adjust it a little bit, take it down to a 300, but that's a freaking solid beer. Okay, we got the adoptable here.
Beer. Your normal light beer. Some flavor to it.
A little bit of flavor towards it to the end. That's the thing, man, is I was drinking, I was trying to keep the palate clean today, so I was drinking a lot of Yingling flights at the game
Yeah,
today.
you were.
And so this has like a little bit more flavor than that. I'm gonna give this about around a 3.25.
More flavor for it?
Adjusted down to about a 275. So still not a bad batting average.
Someone called? Adoptable?
Adoptable. So that I've been drinking this whole time, and this one I might have picked up, 0.75 because this is like right up my alley. As like that hazy, like fruity IPA. I could drink these. Unfortunately, I could probably drink these all day.
I mean, it's only 10 a.m. We're here,
That's a 400. But I got to adjust it down. That's a 350. That's probably on this podcast. There's been, it's going to be our 12th beer. That's the best one I've tasted so far. So anybody that's down here, Motorworks Brewing, come down here. Got to come to Bradenton.
3 blocks from the stadium.
Walk to it. So walkable. It's like insane.
It's such a good amount of Pittsburgh people here too. So
yeah,
definitely a place to be if you're down here to visit for spring training.
Yeah, and amusement. Follow Taylor at Yinzz on everything, right? On Instagram, on Twitter.
It's on the site title too.
Yeah, so and go get some of that stuff because it's not always it's not always Pirate season, but we're big Bucco fans, but we also you don't want to show up to the Steeler game with a Pirate hat, show up with a Yinzz hat, but whoever followed along with this, whoever's going to listen to this, we really appreciate it. Sorry for the little bit of a delay. Hopefully the sound was still okay, but but when you're outside and stuff, and especially since we were being serenaded and the guy finally quit because they said they
heard us talking. Like, we gotta get
that going. But for anybody that doesn't, please do that, and we will talk to you guys later. Let's go Bucs.
Go Bucs. Awesome. Cool. Thanks, man. Got a picture of us. That was good. That was cool. I didn't think about that.
I'm hoping the audio was okay. That's what I was trying to check at the one point.
My wife was gonna check us. She didn't say anything, so it's a good thing, I think. Oh yeah. Yeah, I got better. Yeah. That was fun.